My beloved child. There is a reason this message found you now, because while your eyes may be watching them smile with someone else, while it may appear that they have moved on without hesitation, while every image, every moment, every quiet update seems to whisper that they are happier without you, what you are seeing is not the full story. Do not skip this. Stay until the end, because something huge is waiting for you inside the truth they never wanted you to know. They look peaceful, don't they? Composed, certain, as if choosing that other person solved everything. And I know how deeply that image has wounded you. You asked yourself in silence, how could they replace me so easily? How could they laugh with someone else after everything we shared? Did I ever truly matter to them at all? But listen carefully. What looks like peace from a distance is often performance up close. Not every smile means joy. Not every relationship means fulfillment. Not every choice that looks right from the outside feels right when the room grows quiet. And that is where the real story begins. Because the one they chose over you was never chosen because they loved them more. That truth may shock you. They were chosen because they were easier. Easier to explain. Easier to control. Easier to fit into the version of life your partner believed they needed. But easier is not deeper. Easier is not destiny. Easier does not erase what they felt with you. That is the part no one sees. Because what existed between you and them did not disappear simply because they walked away. Real connection does not vanish on command. Deep feelings do not dissolve because someone pretends they are gone. And powerful bonds do not stop existing just because another person enters the picture. They may act settled, but beneath that surface, something unsettles them more than they admit. You, your memory, your absence, the standard you created in their heart. Do not underestimate what it means to be the one someone compares everyone else to, because that is what is happening now. Every conversation they have with that person, they notice what is missing. Every quiet moment together, they feel what does not match. Every time that person tries to understand them, they remember how naturally you once did. And they hate that, because they thought choosing someone else would make missing you disappear. It did not. Stay with this message. Do not skip, because the next part matters more than you realize. They are trying to convince themselves they made the right decision. That is why they appear so determined. That is why they seem so publicly content. That is why they hold tighter to that connection than they naturally would. Because sometimes people cling hardest to what they are unsure about. Sometimes the loudest display of happiness comes from someone trying desperately to believe their own lie. And your partner is fighting an internal battle they have told no one about. They thought time would make them forget you. Instead, time has made them question everything. They wonder why peace never arrived after leaving. They wonder why the relationship they chose still feels incomplete. They wonder why your name still echoes in their thoughts during moments that should belong to someone else. That confusion is growing, quietly, slowly, relentlessly, and soon it will become impossible for them to ignore. Because pretending works only for a while. Eventually truth begins to press against every false choice. Eventually the heart rebels against what the mind forced it into. Eventually people reach a moment where they can no longer deny what they truly feel. And your partner is approaching that moment faster than you think. But hear this carefully, their confusion is not your permission to stop your life. Their uncertainty is not your reason to wait in pain. Their internal struggle is not a command for you to remain frozen. No, your role now is not to chase what left. Your role is to become so grounded, so whole, so transformed, that when they finally understand what they lost, they no longer find the same version of you standing there, because something extraordinary is happening in this separation, while they are learning what life feels like without your presence. You are learning what life becomes when you stop begging to be chosen. That shift changes everything, and whether they return or not, they will never forget the one person they thought they could replace, only to discover no one carried what you carried. Let that sink in, because the story is not over, not even close. What they are feeling behind closed doors, what is beginning to unravel in the connection they chose, and the moment that may force them to confront the truth, is still ahead. And when that moment comes, nothing will remain hidden. Stay ready, because in the next part, the mask begins to crack. And now the part they never expected begins. Because regret alone is not what shakes a person, it is the moment regret turns into realization. Do not skip this. Stay till the end. Because something huge is waiting for you. They are starting to understand that what they chose over you was not built on the same foundation. At first, everything looked easy, fresh, exciting, effortless. But time reveals what excitement hides. And now, the shine is fading. The conversations no longer feel magical. The energy no longer distracts them the way it once did. The comfort they thought they found is beginning to feel unfamiliar. Because when novelty disappears, truth enters the room. And the truth is this: what they found may have entertained them, but it did not fulfill them. That realization is hitting harder than they want to admit. They compare the little things now. The way you listened. The way you understood what they meant without explanation. The way your presence calmed storms inside them they never spoke about. They remember all of it. And memories become heavier when someone realizes too late what they truly meant. Something inside them is changing. Their laughter has become thinner. Their confidence in that choice is weaker. Their certainty is beginning to crack. Even the people around them can sense it. Because no matter how much someone pretends, real emotional conflict always leaks through. There are pauses in their day now, unexpected moments when your name enters their thoughts without warning. A song, a place, a sentence someone says, a random quiet moment. And suddenly, you are there again. Not physically, but in their heart, in their memory, in the space they thought they had cleared. That is what unsettles them most. Because they tried to move forward, yet something keeps pulling them backward. Why? Because unfinished emotions do not disappear simply because someone runs from them. They wait, they linger, they return when the distractions stop working. And distractions are no longer working. Stay till the end. Because what comes next changes everything. They are beginning to see the difference between someone who looked right, and someone who felt right. That difference is haunting them. Because the person beside them may check every visible box, yet still fail to reach the place in them that you once touched without trying. That is rare. That is unforgettable. That is not easily replaced. And now, they know it. But here is the part no one sees. They are fighting themselves. Pride tells them to stay silent. Ego tells them to pretend. Fear tells them it may be too late. Yet their heart keeps returning to you. Again, and again, and again. Because truth has become impossible to silence. They are beginning to question the decision they defended so confidently. They are beginning to wonder what life would feel like if they had chosen differently. They are beginning to imagine what would happen if they reached out. And once a person starts imagining reunion, distance loses its power. Listen closely. They may still appear composed, still seem committed, still act like everything is normal. But behind that performance, Their emotions are becoming impossible to manage. They are noticing flaws they once ignored, feeling disconnection where they once forced optimism, experiencing emptiness in moments that should feel fulfilling. Why? Because when the wrong path is chosen, peace never stays for long. And they are feeling that now, deeply. Every day that passes, the contrast grows stronger. The more they try to invest in what they chose, the more they recognize what is missing. And what is missing looks exactly like you. Do not underestimate what is building beneath the surface. Because this is no longer casual doubt. This is emotional collapse in slow motion. The image of happiness they created is starting to crack from within. And when it breaks fully, the truth they have been suppressing will rise all at once. They will no longer be able to deny who still lives in their heart. They will no longer be able to pretend they are fulfilled where they are. They will no longer be able to ignore what they lost. But what happens when that pressure becomes too much? That is where the real turning point begins. Then came the moment they could no longer pretend. Not to others, but to themselves. Do not skip this. Stay till the end. Because something huge is waiting for you. There is always a turning point, a quiet moment, a single conversation, a random night when the distractions stop working. And suddenly the truth they buried rises all at once. That moment has begun for them. They are no longer merely missing you. They are confronting what your absence truly means. Because there is a difference between remembering someone and realizing no one else has been able to replace them. That realization changes everything. It shakes the heart. It unsettles the mind. It rewrites the story they told themselves after leaving. Now they are forced to face something painful. They may have chosen what looked easier, while losing what felt real. And that truth is becoming unbearable. The connection they once tried to dismiss, now feels impossible to forget. The bond they thought would fade, has only grown louder in silence. And the person they once walked away from has become the standard by which everyone else is measured. That is why nothing fully satisfies them. No matter how much they try. No matter how much they invest. No matter how hard they pretend. Because comparison is no longer optional for them. It happens automatically. Every deep conversation that lacks your understanding. Every moment of closeness that still feels distant. Every time they wish they could explain themselves and realize you would have understood without words. That memory is not leaving them. It is growing. Stay till the end. Because what they are about to realize next is bigger than regret. They are beginning to understand that losing you was not just losing a person, it was losing a feeling of being known, a feeling of being emotionally met, a feeling of connection that could not be manufactured. And now, they are discovering how rare that truly was. Some people spend years searching for what they once had, only to realize they already lost it. That is the lesson reaching them now, quietly, deeply, irreversibly. Their heart is pulling them toward the memories they tried hardest to escape. They revisit your old words in their mind. They replay the moments they once took for granted. They think about how different everything might be, if they had simply stayed. And here is what matters most. This is no longer curiosity. This is longing. The kind of longing that grows stronger when ignored. The kind that turns silence into obsession. The kind that makes someone wonder if they ruined something irreplaceable. Because deep down, they know they may never find another connection like yours. And once someone realizes that, pride begins to lose. Fear begins to weaken. Distance begins to feel unbearable. They may still resist it for now. They may still hesitate. They may still act as if nothing has changed, but inside, everything has changed. They are no longer emotionally where they once were. Part of them has already left the life they chose. Part of them is already living in memories of you. Part of them is already wondering whether it is too late. Do not miss this. Because the next stage is when inner realization turns into outward action. When thoughts become temptation. When longing becomes urgency. When silence becomes impossible to maintain. They are closer than ever to doing something they swore they would not do. And when they finally reach that breaking point, you will understand why this story was never over. And then, the silence begins to betray them. Do not skip this. Stay till the end. Because something huge is waiting for you. There comes a moment when feelings hidden for too long stop obeying logic. That moment is closer than they expected. They wake up thinking about you. They fall asleep replaying what they lost. They try to focus on the life they chose, yet your memory interrupts everything. Not occasionally, constantly. Because when someone realizes they let go of the wrong person, peace leaves them before they can explain why. They are trying to act normal, trying to keep the image together, trying to behave as though their decision still makes sense. But inside, their certainty is gone. And once certainty disappears, everything starts unraveling. The relationship they chose is beginning to feel heavier. Small disagreements affect them more. Ordinary conversations frustrate them more. Moments that should bring closeness now feel strangely hollow. Why? Because their heart is no longer fully present there. A part of them has drifted somewhere else. Back to the one they never fully released. Back to you. And now they are battling a truth they cannot avoid. They may have walked away physically, but emotionally, they never truly left. That realization is terrifying for them, because it means every effort to move on, every attempt to replace you, every performance of happiness, was covering a truth they did not want to face. You remained. Stay till the end. Because what happens next changes the entire story. They have started checking things they once avoided. Old messages, old memories, places that remind them of you, thoughts they promised themselves they would never revisit. Why? Because longing creates gravity, and gravity always pulls people back toward what mattered most. At first they told themselves it was harmless curiosity. Then they told themselves it meant nothing. But now, they can no longer lie to themselves. This is not curiosity. This is their heart reaching for what it still wants. And the more they resist it, the stronger it becomes. They are beginning to wonder things they never expected to ask. Did I choose comfort over truth? Did I confuse distraction for connection? Did I lose the one person who actually understood me? Those questions are keeping them restless, because once someone starts asking those questions, their peace is already broken. And here is the part almost no one sees. They are closer to reaching out than you realize. Much closer. They rehearse conversations in their mind. They imagine what they would say. They wonder if you would respond. They wonder if you still think of them. They wonder if the door is still open. Every day the urge grows stronger. Every day the silence becomes heavier. Every day the need to know what could still exist between you becomes harder to ignore. They are standing at the edge of a decision between continuing to pretend, or finally confronting what their heart has been trying to tell them. That moment is approaching fast, because hearts can only suppress truth for so long before it demands expression. And when they finally stop suppressing it, when they finally act on what they feel, nothing will remain hidden anymore. The message, the confession, The unexpected return. It is closer than ever now.